I'm recording. Okay. So I'm just, oh, can't, sorry. Okay. Hello. I'm Ash from Babe World, and today we're going to be talking about how being constantly anxious and autistic impacts the experiences of socializing. So there are loads of videos online that will claim to help you get through socializing with anxiety, neurodivergence, and the genuine desire to never leave your bed or talk to anyone ever again. These all seem to offer loads of well-meaning advice, but when I look back at how I managed these barriers with such flawless efficiency that no one would ever know that I was struggling, I found that I had set up much more specific and objective systems. So I thought I'd share these with you today and also deep dive my social interaction strategies, TM, but also ask some questions about what they really mean. So you'd never know, but I'm basically too socially anxious to hang out with people, even those closest to me. This can often manifest in me cancelling, hiding in the toilet, or violently shaking in interactions with my besties. Then I realised that the perfect thing to do was to plan topics of conversation to get through the ongoing abyss-like chasm of unstructured, unorganised conversation. With my trusty notes app on my phone with categories and subcategories of conversation, I truly felt myself starting to thrive in social interactions. I mean, I still cancelled on them a lot, just not every single one. Thing is, socially, for better or for worse, I find it easier to be less of a freak by being a certain type of freak. You know, like a planned out freak rather than a freestyle and go with the flow freak. I've never once in my life gone with the flow. The flow terrifies me. As I developed my system of organised topics of conversation, I realised that it was still too freestyle. The flow was still flowing. Now, I love admin, I love deep diving, I love spreadsheets, I love making my friends join Twitch streams and finding joy in setting up hyper-specific commands to structure every single second. I like to think that this level of organisation would make my parents proud if they showed any interest in my life or who I was at all, or what I did. I'm just fixing my fridge. Oh, that's not fixed, that's making it worse, girl. Okay. That'll do. Honestly, like, get a fringe. It makes you look hot, but honestly, like, trying to sort it out is just like the bane of my life. Okay, anyway, sorry. No, my fringe. Anyway, sorry, the tangent. Let me get back to my favourite form of organising. Social organising, let me start again. Anyway, sorry, the tangent. Let me get back to my favourite form of social organising. When I found the topics of conversation were still leading to unknown places, I decided to get even more meticulous with the seemingly spontaneous way that I would interact with my friends when socialising. So, instead of trying to narrow conversation down to, let's say, 20 different topics with over 100 unique outputs, which I would then neatly structure like a drug dealer's WhatsApp a la carte menu, I'd actually settle on 3 to 4 options, each with only 2 outcomes. That's right, I now only socialise with a specific approach that involves playing Would You Rather. You know, the old Would You Rather Fly or Be Invisible game, but like better ones than that. And so, I'm going to talk you through how I approach this, but I'm also going to show you how to turn Would You Rather from an ambiguous guessing game to a factually correct, research and structured approach to ensure that you have the blueprint with no room for ambiguity to enhance all of your socialising. So let's get into my approach. Okay, so I'm going to give you a quick example of how it goes. I'm on the common near my house, I'm dual wielding 2 iced lattes, one in each hand, and even though I can't reach my phone to pull out my trusty notes app, I can remember my Would You Rather scripts like the names of the 72 plushies that I have that I call my children. So anyway, my friend who wanted to go for this walk because they're having like relationship problems or something finally turns up and starts telling me about what's going on with their childhood sweetheart. And as the warning signs of emotion brew and they seem close to tears, they're looking at me expectantly for advice that I'm just in no way prepared to give. So I hit them with the, Would you rather eat candle wax for breakfast or eat books for breakfast for the rest of your life? And she says, random, okay, I guess eat wax because it's nutritional, not books. I don't think they'd be healthy. Did I tell you about this book I read called The Body Keeps the... Wrong! The National Candle Association is very clear that despite being developed from a variety of fats and oils from flora and fauna, there is no nutritional value, and therefore wax cannot and should not be consumed. You might think that if you burn a candle because it has 10.34 kilocalories per gram of paraffin that you could also eat it. Well, you're wrong again. Eating a candle will produce no nutritional calories because the wax is indigestible. Keep those candles from your frenzied TK Maxx hauls for covering the smell of your dirty depression hovel, because you can't eat them. Whereas, you'll be glad to know that a 500-page book, which could, for example, be the 2004 Penguin edition of Jane Eyre, will give you 0.53 calories, which I worked out is the same nutritional value as a single slice of delicious cucumber. The thing is, at night, I lay in bed in my monk-like self-imposed digital detox to spend time with my thoughts. I clock in less than 9 hours screen time most days. How's that for being present? And I come up with endless would you rather scenarios, because doing this and staying awake is better than seeing the Hat Man as you drift into near sleep, or getting a nighttime visit from the Duolingo owl ready to take your expensive Dyson Hoover as payment for not keeping up with your streak. Here's a few examples of my thoughts. Would you rather all songs exist, but they are performed by Cher Lloyd, or only one Cher Lloyd song exists, but is performed by every artist with their own cover interpretation? Would you rather teeth for hair or hair for teeth? Would you rather be awake forever or dream forever? Would you rather have to socialise with friends all the time, or have no friends? Would you rather always be tired or always be too energetic? Personally, I am both, and my body really does not know what to do with this build-up of energy in my body. I feel like I'm going to pass out at any moment, but also that I could run a marathon and do 500 million years worth of admin at the same time. And I wonder why people like me, people who are introduced as the autistic artists, or end up texting my friends even though we're in the same room because I'm too anxious to speak, why do we find such comfort in structured situations and conversations? Sorry. I think about something I learned in school, uselessly seared into my cluttered brain. There's this theory called Grice's maxim, a theory of English language. Grice, Paul Grice to you, came up with this theory of cooperative principles for linguistics, things you can use to listen and speak in conversation for mutual benefit. It's about the quality and the quantity of your input and listening, the properness of your manner in communicating, and your relationship overall. I mean, Grice even had sub-maxims, and personally, I'd love to get Grice, if he was still alive, in a room, just me, him, the Duolingo owl, foaming at the mouth like Ross Kemp on one of his Extreme World documentaries. And I'd say to Grice, forget your maxims, let's play Would You Rather. Looking like a... There has been lots of studies that support the methodology that I develop constantly in my mind. The private therapy clinic talk about what they call autism-based scripting as a creative solution that sits somewhere between like a coping strategy and powerful communication. Look at me, mum, strategically coping and communicating powerfully. The University of Kent and their fine scholars, Abbott Smith, Malkin and Williams, talked about this approach as conversational topic maintenance. When I found this article, I found myself nodding enthusiastically as I read their opening sentence. Keeping conversation going is the social glue of friendships. And that's me. I am now social glue. They carried out the studies and found that spontaneous conversation would lead to generic minimal... They carried out 3 studies and found that spontaneous conversation would lead to generic minimal responses like, oh, or... Whilst pre-planned and maintained topics led to a 62% increase in conversation. Now I think that Dr. Abbott Smith, Professor Malkin and Professor Williams would love to see how I've built on their research. Okay, let's imagine another example. I'm at a private view and people from art school want to keep asking me what I've been working on as a vehicle for them to tell me what they've been working on. And as they drone on about this and that, I hit them with the, would you rather be a strawberry with human thoughts or a human with strawberry thoughts? And they always love this because they think that this is a time for philosophical, ethical straw man deep dive. They are like, maybe this is part of the show itself. Is this socially engaged? Shall I go again? And they always love this because they think it's time for like a philosophical, ethical straw man deep dive. They're like, maybe this is part of the show. Is this socially engaged? Is this discourse? And they answer my would you rather with, the page didn't turn. And they answer my would you rather with more of a statement than an answer because, you know, it's a phenomenology discussion. But no, it isn't either of those things because there is no discourse, because it is, of course, black and white. In fact, it is unmistakably clear-cut. Forget dull colours, the answer is positively luminous. The Botanical Studies Journal, the best place for all your botanical scientific updates, makes it clear that berries, such as strawberries, do not feel pain, nor do they have a soul in which to be endlessly dissecting in order to figure out the innateness of your constant anxiety. Strawberries have sensitivity to environmental changes, but they've evolved to be sensitive to their environment in order to survive, which is something that I lack. Strawberries last about 5 to 7 days, according to Martha Stewart's blog, which is something that I actually generally doubt, and this is only if they're kept in the fridge. To be a strawberry with human thoughts means a life resigned to being in anyone's fridge, no matter how disgusting, while still riddled with the vicious cycle of self-attacking human thoughts. So I'm going to say it's objectively right that you want to be in a human body, somewhat less fragile than a strawberry's, with the advantage of not feeling any pain and being adapted to your environment. When researching the history and, lore of the strawberry, the literature suggests that the first garden strawberry was grown in France in the late 1700s. And given my dismal attempt to learn French from Duolingo, I just don't think I'd last there. It's still funny, like, SEO brain, SEO. I love Google ranking, I love Google, I love websites, I love clicks. Clicking on websites is my favourite thing in the world. Okay. Last one. Imagine the situation. Now this one still gives me shivers. Back in the days when I used to think that employment held some kind of structure or purpose for me in life, I was applying for jobs and even once in a while getting an interview. So I'm at an interview for a role as a search engine optimization manager for an arts marketing charity, and I truly believe that my own skills with searching for things on Google will be all that I need. But it becomes quickly and devastatingly clear that everyone in the room knows that I am not the right fit. So they say to me, so, can you name a couple of important Google ranking factors that you'd look for in this role? And so I say, so ranking factors I'm most interested in are the ones that rank dichotomous results, as in, let's rank these two factors, best or worst. I'm going to hit you with an example. And then I hit them with the, would you rather never have light bulbs in your house again or never wear shoes again? And they look confused, unsure what this turn it back on them, put them on the spot maverick approach is. I'm sure they think I have the makings of Silicon Valley. A startup, a conversation startup more like. I'm sorry, that was really cringe. I don't even listen to their responses because it is so obvious that I can wow them with my research, because if you have no light bulbs in your house, assuming that you rarely leave, which is a habit that I've fallen into, the lack of brightness may make parts of your brain stop working properly. So for example, the hypothalamus, which makes your body produce more melatonin and makes you constantly sleepy. So how can the darkness be bad? In the most northerly settlement of the United States, Alaskan town of Ukivik, it has something called polar night. Now that's 65 days of pure darkness. Something that can lead to intense seasonal affective disorder, hallucination, and manic episodes. What about the things that live in the darkness? I mean, we got cyclopses, trolls, the Hat Man, Duolingo Owl, etc. And whilst they all command power, they are just not the vibe. Whilst being without shoes is a hotly debated topic, it's something that commercially funded studies from the trillion-dollar health and fitness industry push with the manipulated narratives of links to ancestral practices in order to sell barefoot shoes or the barefoot running lifestyle. Studies spout the benefit of going barefoot for the general well-being and structural support of the foot and the ankle and therefore the leg and therefore the spine, because the barefoot nature and the lack of shoes without padding means that you do not heel strike the floor in such damaging ways. And apparently there are even releases of serotonin, dopamine and toxin release from connecting your bare foot to the cold concrete ground. But this one is the most obvious of them all. Need I say more? Because when you run barefoot, you cannot take your shoes that the outside dirt sticks to so insistently off. Now that dirt from the street, it's going on your carpet, your sofa, your sheets, your bed. And so, that is why, scientifically, logically, and factually, we should all become creatures of darkness. Goodbye, light bulbs. So yeah, what I've just presented for you is just 3 small examples of how to create this wonderful structure to help with the endless, devastating fear that comes with even the smallest social interaction. I just want to make it clear to you as well that this method, whilst effective, it doesn't come easily. You know, you have to have that dog in you, the admin dog. For me, I initially draft Would You Rathers in my dedicated Muji notepad after a long period of cross-referencing disgusting, often incest-based examples online that I obviously reject with ease. Following this, I make a Word document in which I collate scientific evidence, cultural theory, and pop cultural approaches that help me find a definitive answer to the Would You Rather question. I use a Harvard referencing system to make sure that my information is always backed up with hard evidence. And I've emailed I can't say the word email. And I've even emailed specialists in academic fields to confirm my lines of questioning. I can't wait until one of them replies. I invested in signing up for JSTOR, and I pay for text-to-speech software so that I can be read peer-reviewed articles in the melodic voice of Sabrina Carpenter. And I bought a £246 custom mechanical keyboard so that the delicious clack 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 of the keys can make sure my research really gets onto that digital page. Nice. And every question I ask, you bet I keep a spreadsheet collating people's answers, but also rating their enthusiasm, levels of engagement, and respect for the pioneering Would You Rather game. Then, when the Grim Reaper of social interaction calls, you know that I can ensure I come prepared with new questions perfectly and bespokely tailored to their interests and responses. Yeah, I know I'm insane. I'm aware. And with these methods, although not scientifically backed up and therefore not medical or therapeutic advice, I have to legally say that, maybe you can find social interactions less exhausting and languishing in bed less tempting. That's it. I mean, what do you want to do in autism or something? Like, I don't know.